Coming up on Network Africa. A great day for Nigeria as Tobi Amusan wins the country's first medal at the World Athletics Championships, and Hilda Basi makes her way back to the Guinness World Record books. An ambush in Niger kills at least 14 soldiers in the western region of Tillaberi. Plus, long-delayed trial over theft at South Africa's President Ramaphosa's farm begin in the country. A warm welcome to the program this week. I'm Layo Olarinde. Well, let's begin with stories and happenings that made headlines over the weekend.
The High Military Court of the Democratic Republic of Congo ordered the reopening of proceedings in the trial of former President Joseph Kabila, delaying the expected verdict following a request by the civil party representing the Congolese state to reclassify the charges as espionage. Mr. Kabila had faced charges including treason, participation in insurrectional movements and crimes against humanity linked to allegations of his involvement with the M23 group, with the death penalty having been sought. Mr. Kabila did not appear at the court session, boycotting the trial. However, he has not appointed a lawyer, and the Congolese state has joined the proceedings of a civil party. Algerian President Abdelmadjid Tebboune announced a cabinet reshuffle, appointing Sefi Guirassy as Prime Minister, introducing 10 new ministers and establishing a new ministry under the General Inspectorate of State Services. As part of the reshuffle, Murad Abjal was named as Minister of Energy and Renewable Energy, and the Ministry of Interior and Local Authorities was expanded to incorporate the transport portfolio, now under the leadership of former Oran Governor Said Seyyoud. On Sunday, thousands of Ethiopians flooded Meskel Square in Addis Ababa for a massive rally celebrating the completion of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. The $5 billion gate on the Blue Nile River in the Benishangul Gumuz region was funded by the state with domestic resources and reportedly has a capacity of 5,150 megawatts, equivalent to 3 medium-sized nuclear power plants, and enough to double Ethiopia's electricity output. GERD has long been a source of disputes with downstream countries. Egypt and Sudan who fear the dam will significantly reduce their freshwater supplies. Ethiopia maintains that GERD will not harm downstream nations and will help prevent flooding by regulating water flows. Elsewhere in Ghana, Tamale came alive as northern communities in the country gathered to mark the Damba Festival, a centuries-old tradition observed under the theme, Our Heritage, Our Unity, Our Future. The Damba Festival, regarded as the largest traditional celebration in Ghana, is particularly prominent across the northern Savannah, northeast, upper east and upper west regions. In recent years, it has also gained international recognition, with diaspora communities marking the festival in Germany, the US and the UK. Celebrated in the third month of the Dagomba calendar, the festival commemorates the heritage, history and chieftaincy of Dagbon, birthplace of centralized kingdoms in both Ghana and Burkina Faso.
To our main stories for today, it's a proud and victorious day for Nigeria as talented athlete Tobi Amusan has clinched the country's first medal at the World Athletic Championships Games. Ms. Amusan continues her winning streak, winning silver in the women's 100-meter hurdles final, clocking a brilliant 12.29 seconds in the thrilling race that was won by Switzerland. Well, she remains the world record holder with a 12.12 seconds record, which she won at the 2022 World Athletics Championships in Eugene, Oregon in July that year. This record also made her the first Nigerian world champion in an athletics event, setting the world record in the semi-final. Well, Ms. Amusan is one of the 15 talented athletes representing Nigeria in various sports. And she has done it again. She's back in the history books talking about Nigeria's Hilda Bassi, who has just bagged another Guinness World Record for the largest serving of Nigerian jollof rice. The announcement was made on the Guinness World Record handle on Instagram. Hilda cooked 200 bags of rice using up to 500 cartons of tomato paste and 600 kilograms of onions, all poured into a custom-made pot that can hold 23,000 liters, over 1,200 kilograms of gas. She added 168 kilograms of goat meat as well. The pot weighed 8,780 kilograms when she was done. According to her, the dish took 9 hours to cook, assisted by 10 other chefs in red uniforms wielding long wooden spoons to stir the food. She was able to serve up to 16,600 plates of rice. Miss Bassi won a competition for her version of jollof rice in 2021 and then became a national sensation in 2023 when she claimed the world cooking marathon record for 93 hours and 11 minutes. Well, on a more somber note, let's head to Niger Republic, where at least 14 soldiers have been killed in a deadly ambush in the Tillaberi region. It's an area already notorious as a hotspot for extremist violence. Authorities say the security forces had been escorting a team to carry out voter registration in the district of Sanam ahead of presidential and legislative elections. This attack raises troubling questions about state authority and the risk of violence spilling across borders. Well, Nigeria is expressing deep concern over Israeli strikes on Doha, Qatar, which reportedly targeted senior members of the Hamas leadership. The government underscored the primacy of respecting the sovereignty of all nations and adhering to international law, particularly in matters involving the use of force across borders. According to the Foreign Ministry, this development raises serious questions about regional stability and the prospects for ongoing diplomatic efforts aimed at resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The Nigerian government also acknowledged Qatar's long-standing role in fostering dialogue and mediation in the region. Well, the country is now calling and urging on all parties to exercise maximum restraint, avoid escalation, and recommit to peaceful engagement. We're in South Africa now. The long-delayed trial over the theft at President Ramaphosa's farm is finally set to begin. The case, which was postponed for months to allow one of the witnesses give birth, involves 3 suspects accused of breaking into the president's property and stealing over $500,000, allegedly stashed inside a couch. Well, the state plans to call 20 witnesses to testify even as the trial begins. We're in South Sudan now. The judiciary, considered a vital democratic pillar in the world's youngest nation, is grappling with a severe shortage of qualified legal professionals, slowing access to justice across the country. Well, to bridge this gap, mobile courts are being deployed to remote locations without permanent judges, hearing cases of serious crimes that often involve women, children, and internally displaced people. Well, despite these efforts, nearly 80% of disputes in rural areas are still handled by customary courts led by the community chiefs. However, the United Nations mission in the country is now supporting ongoing reforms, including the appointment of permanent judges and prosecutors in Unity State. And this is in a bid to improve efficiency and restore confidence in the rule of law.
And one of their goals is actually to enhance access to justice. And under that goal, one of the strategic priorities of the current administration is to be able to deploy judges to especially the far-off areas in the state where we've not had judges for quite a long time. They have reached out to us to be able to assist with the logistics of deploying these judges. And priority has been given especially to areas where we've not had judges for the last 10 years. With the permanent deployment of judges, we are now going to see more cases coming in through and be able to address the greatest challenge that, as I said, of overcrowding.
Let's take you back to one of our leading stories for today, the ambush in Niger Republic that killed at least 14 soldiers. Or to help us understand what this means for the Sahel region, we've been joined by our Sahel correspondent, Mo Sani Aliyu. He's live with us from Tamale in northern Ghana. Hello, Mo. Quite an unfortunate incident for the military and the soldiers. What does this ambush in Tillaberi tell us really about the Nigerian state's actual capacity to secure its territory? Well, I understand Mo is having some network difficulties. We'll try and reconnect with him. Well, let's continue in Ghana, where a Ghanaian inventor, Makafui Awuku, is tackling pollution and classroom shortages in one stroke, and he's doing this by transforming discarded plastic sachets into sleek, durable desks and chairs, giving waste a new purpose and students a place to learn. Awuku emphasizes the environmental benefits of the project, which could reduce reliance on timber, a factor he describes as crucial to help keep the globe at the right temperature. This initiative also seeks to reduce pollution, establish a sustainable market, and create employment opportunities for women and young people. You're watching Network Africa on Channels Television. Still to come. Nigeria hosts the 2025 Albinism advocacy pageant in Lagos, celebrating beauty and diversity. Please join us again. Welcome back to the program. We have our Channels TV Sahel correspondent back with us, Mo Sani Aliyu. Hello, Mo. Good to have you back. I was asking what, the ambush in Niger Republic that killed at least 14 soldiers, what it tells us about the state and the state's actual capacity to secure the territory.
Well, thank you again for having me on the show. Specifically speaking, this is not the first time this region, attacks of this sort are happening in this region. Over the last 10 years, many such attacks have taken place, and a lot of people have been displaced from this region. This entails one of many unfortunate incidences that are happening. One of them is the fact that the state, that is the Nigerian government, is losing control. That large swath of territory is now controlled by armed gangs. Some of them are working for ISWAP, and that means they set the rules. People who travel through this region, they put taxes on farm produce and decide what happens. They are the de facto governments in this area, this corner, western corner of Niger, near the border with Mali and Burkina Faso. So the government is effectively not in control here, and it undermines its control, or the justification for military takeover, saying that this area will be taken. We've taken over the government, and that will improve security in all of Niger. This puts a lie that allegation or that thing that they're saying that, okay, we are going to improve security, and when attacks like this happen, question marks appear. Layo.
Yeah, and you know, the junta in power promised to restore security, but with these kind of attacks, how damaging are these to their credibility at home?
Very damaging. So many Nigerian citizens are now openly questioning the rationale for military takeover. There are actually two main reasons the military government gave. The military said they're taking over to improve security, and they're also taking over to stabilize the political situation in the country. They have not been able to do any of the two to the satisfaction of most Nigerians. I have spoken to so many of them over the past couple of weeks, and they tell me that the government is arresting dissidents, including journalists, and locking them up for questioning or for daring to speak out, to ask the government about what is actually happening. There is a lot of misgivings on the part of the people, and even civil society groups are saying that things are getting worse. And this particular attack seems to show that that is happening.
And how might these, you know, persistent attacks affect Niger's relationships with foreign security partners?
Well, apparently it's going to push the Nigerian government towards its eastern overlords now, if I can use the word. They are now going to move closer to Russia because over the past year or two, they have distanced themselves from Western powers, specifically France and the United States of America. So they are now working hand in hand with the Russians, who do not seem to want to bring in their own troops and put them on the ground to help the security situation in the country. They prefer to send in mercenaries that they call paid soldiers to come in and do the dirty work, so to say. And that means Niger is going to distance itself more from organizations like the EU and ECOWAS. And that is something that for the foreseeable future will continue.
All right, then, Mo Sani Aliyu, Channels TV Sahel correspondent, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
In South Africa, empowering women is key to closing inequality gaps, boosting productivity and driving inclusive growth in line with the African Union's Agenda 2063. Now, this was the message echoed at the Isago Foundation's Me Time event held in Northwest South Africa. Now in its 11th year, the two-day gathering that brought together more than 1,000 women, youth and persons with disabilities from different countries, South Africa, Botswana, Swaziland and Lesotho, is to strengthen communities through collaboration, innovation and resilience. Our South Africa correspondent Innocent Samosa has more.
In South Africa, women lead a significant share of small, micro and informal businesses, key drivers of job creation, particularly in rural and township economies. This event brings together women entrepreneurs along with youth and persons with disabilities from across Southern Africa region. Events like this can indeed attract more women, but do they have lasting impact?
Yes, indeed. I think just if you look at the numbers of the returning women to the event, the numbers have been consistently, the exponential growth, it speaks for itself in terms of whether there is growth, there's value that women find in the event. So in terms of the business growth and empowerment, we actually are going out of our way to have the subject matter experts to come and share information with the women.
Here, I had a chat with women in business who shared their entrepreneurial journeys.
But it's been over 10 years. I remember one of the first few ones where we met in Centurion, and it was more like a square table and women just around that small. It looked that small, but the vision, I'm very close to the founder as a sister, so I've always been there every step. But the impact, if you focus on the impact and not the numbers come later.
Well, Me Time, I've been part of Me Time for quite a number of years. I enjoy coming here, not only to support a friend, but also to just be at a place where we can just sit and listen to other mothers, other women in business, to be inspired by them. I think as women that are in business or just mere mothers, we don't ever get to have time to ourselves to just be and listen.
A word of encouragement for women and young people across the region who might be losing hope.
As a woman, you can't give up. I mean, life depends on you. The whole society and everything is dependent on a woman. Households are run by women. You know, the country is dependent on women. So we cannot give in. I think it's important for us to remember that we cannot be pouring from empty cups. And I think this is where the mistake is with women, because we are such givers, and we give and we give and we pour into people, and we forget to fill ourselves.
Women make up nearly half of South Africa's population and, of course, workforce, meaning that without their active participation, the economy cannot meet its full potential. But I can tell you now that at this event, women are quite optimistic about the future in making sure that they not only drive innovation in the SADC region, but building a better Africa. From northwestern South Africa, Innocent Samosa, Channels Television News.
And Nigeria has hosted the 2025 Albinism Advocacy Pageant in Lagos, celebrating beauty and diversity, while also challenging stigma and discrimination against people with albinism. The event, organized by the Albinism Association of Nigeria in partnership with Misty Glam Company, featured models with albinism from across the country, showcasing fashion, talent, and advocacy messages. According to the Lagos State Chairman of AAN, Tolani Ojuri, the pageant was aimed at improving awareness and welfare of people with albinism. The program also included workshops on climate resilience and health, educating participants about sun protection, healthy living, and community advocacy.
We are a talent management agency, a modeling agency, with a focus on managing unconventional talent. So I'm talking persons with albinism, persons with vitiligo, wheelchair models, models with disabilities and chronic illnesses. Present them for opportunities and also advocate for them, because it is not just enough to say, oh, I have models with albinism. You need to also understand that outside of the modeling world, there's a larger problem of discrimination that they face. And that's why we are committed to ensuring that every year we're going to be having advocacy events. And so this is the first of its kind. This is the Albinism Advocacy Event.
It's meant to drive the cause of persons with albinism, improve their welfare. The last 5 to 10 years, this was not in place. Yes, ideas came, but we couldn't bring it to fruition.
And as we end the program today, here's our fun fact about the continent. Did you know that Seychelles is Africa's smallest country by population, with just over 100,000 people? The island nation, made up of 115 stunning islands in the Indian Ocean, is renowned for its pristine beaches, rare wildlife, and unique Creole culture. Well, beyond being a tourist paradise, Seychelles is also home to giant Aldabra tortoise and some of the world's most protected marine reserves. That's it on the program today. Thank you for watching. I'm Layo Olamide.